So we're live here at the Canada Winter Games, 2019 Canada Winter Games. We're about halfway through. Actually, we're on Skips Rocks already in the gold medal game. Sorry about that little inconvenience. We had a little trouble getting the stream up. This is Joel Peterman back in the booth. I'm joined this morning by Shane Cord. How you doing this morning, Shane?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here. A little bit of a technical problem to begin, but we're live. We're here. It's awesome.
So to catch you up on what's happened so far, it was a pretty simple end. BC made a good shot to kind of sit two, and they've kind of got a deuce set up early. So the skip for BC, we got Hayato Sato. Going to try and split the house and keep an early two alive. Trying to get this rock as even as they can. Would be key for BC. Don't want to sign up any kind of double for Del Conte and Team Ontario. Del Conte just narrowly missing a double on his last one, Shane.
Yeah, I mean, BC just made a really good, they had a guard just above the 12-foot and made a really nice kind of a tick roll that split the house really well.
We just got it up. I think we're live now. Yeah. Yeah. No, Willow J's with us this morning again. Morning, Willow J, and Team Ontario supporter. Willow, can you hear us just to make sure that our mics are working? You're always our faithful supporter online. Already got 70 people watching us, so people were anxiously awaiting the start of this game.
Anxiously, yeah.
We're still trying to work everything out. I don't know if our girls' games is quite up yet either. Trying to make things work here, so I'll just be right back as Del Conte attempts a double attempt.
Looks a little bit tight. Coming out, looks like he's just going to be hit around the nose. Maybe even not in the nose. Maybe even a little outside, might spill out here. Yeah, holy, that over-curled a ton for him. Not sure if he even had the weight to fully get that across, but anyway, gives BC another chance to split the house here. It's been a more eventful first end than we've expected, I think, Joel. Hasn't it been a lot of blank ends so far this week?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think.
To start off end one usually, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So good chance here for Sato to get opening deuce, and that would be a good start for them and get some momentum.
That's a huge start, especially in an 8-end game. Anytime you get 2 points is huge.
Especially early in the game to throw these kind of shots with no pressure. For
Exactly.
Hayato Sato to be able to draw basically open house to hit anywhere in the house. Not only is he going to get the confidence of hitting the house and taking a 2-point lead, but now he's also going to have draw weight in his back pocket for the rest of the game.
That's exactly what I was thinking. You know, get that draw weight for the whole game. I mean, that's huge. Huge for a skip. It's always nice to have because you're going to need that, you know, almost every end is that draw weight.
So BC with a 2-0 lead here early. Thank you for being patient with us with our stream, trying to get back online. But BC leads 1-0 after a deuce in the open end. It's pretty easy to go across the sheets here with only 4 games left. So we'll give you a quick update of what's going on. We are BC Ontario, obviously, for the gold medal game here on sheet 11. Beside us, we have our Ontario-Manitoba girls final for gold. Over on sheet 8, we have our girls bronze medal game between Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, so an all-Atlantic matchup. And on sheet 7, it was our bronze medal game for the boys, Manitoba versus Newfoundland.
All going to be crazy, exciting matchups.
Yep, here from the Canada Winter Games in Red Deer, Alberta. Spud Hoodify, thank you for letting us know. We're trying to get the audio. I think we got our audio. Spud Hoodify, can you confirm for us? I know that's a weird
for
name.
the females game.
For the girls game.
Girls game.
Hey, our hockey team's working with us too. Techs are checking audio. I think we're back online. Thank you, Downtown Arena, for helping us out with that. So once again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. We're back in action here in the second end now.
It looks like Ontario's going to put up a corner guard, I think. Looks like it.
That's the call. I like BC coming right into the house to kind of force the action for Ontario. Vince for Team Ontario looks a little bit heavy here. This has got to stay out up front or else BC's just going to hit it and play this kind of simple game, Shane.
Yeah, it'll be a pretty... If there's no misses here with that rock coming in, it's going to be a pretty open end. Yeah.
Absolutely. So BC going to try and hit this right on the nose. This is their lead from Burnaby, Troy Chung. His main goal for this game was to perform well for his province and hopefully place on the podium. So I think he's done just that.
He's accomplished that now, just trying to get that gold medal.
Really well-spoken kid named Troy. When I met him earlier this week, he talked about how a lot of his goals were to kind of forge friendships across the country and kind of not only grow his curling game, but meet people from across the country in different sports, and very well-spoken young individual.
That's pretty awesome. And that's what you get when you're in the Canada Winter Games. You're meeting so many different people, right? Like, you might as well enjoy it and make new friends, right? That's huge.
Exactly.
Especially in the curling world. You never know who you're going to play with. You know, we see, in the professional league how many people switch, and you never know who you're going to end up with.
Exactly. Sam Guilbeau trying to keep this one straight for his lead, and he's done a good job. Ontario will roll over and sit second shot. However, no real stress here for BC as it's wide open hit.
And Joel, talk about, you're a gold medalist. You've done this at Winter Games. You've done this before. Is there a pressure? What did you feel going into this? Like when you were, 2006?
2007.
2007, a couple of years ago. What did you feel going into it? Like, was there pressure? Was there anxiety?
To be honest, during the final, I felt this weird sense of calm. The semifinal, I think I was more nervous than anything, just because it was so important for me to get to that gold medal game. We played what many people regarded as the gold medal favorite in the semifinal, and Brett Gallant out of PEI.
Never heard of that guy again.
Yeah, so I got some bragging rights there. But so once we beat Brett, kind of all this pressure seemed to fade away for me. So it's a little bit different. I came into the gold medal game basically saying I have nothing to lose. I have all the confidence in the world after beating a team that was widely regarded as the gold medal favorite. So coming in and staying in the moment, I think, was the most important thing for us. Realizing that we couldn't get too far ahead of ourselves and just playing shot by shot. I know that sounds very cliche, but it's exactly what we did. Team Ontario here in their second. Sam Guilbeau going to roll just out of the rings. Good sweeping there by
really
Sato.
Close to almost a perfect hit and roll there.
But just back finishing that point, it was kind of weird. We had this.
Was it just because you were on the podium, so it was like?
It was just this quiet confidence we had, I guess. Yeah. In that game against Ontario in the final, we were on TSN, so it was a new scene. We were on TSN, mic'd up, and we actually gave up 4 in the second end of the gold medal final. And for some reason, we never panicked. We were coached well. My mom, Nancy McInerney, shout out to her, and
all credit to Nancy.
And we had good sports psychologists as well that had trained us to deal with situations like that. So once we gave up 4 early on in the game, we knew we were going to get back in that game, and we got 2, and we stole 2, and we were right back in it right away. So you got to give a lot of credit to all the other people that go into having success at this level. It's not just sometimes your playing ability, but it's your coaches and your parents that train you so well. Yeah,
it's a whole team, right? It's not just individuals, especially in curling, right? It's a 4-person team that you see on the ice, but then there's even more to it with your coaching and, like you said, sports psychologists and everything like that.
Exactly. So BC, they've split the house here, and they're sitting 2 without Hammer here in the second end. Ontario, maybe they're going to hit this one over on the side 8-foot. Kind of group these stones as much as they can together. They're going to try and hit this one on the side 8-foot and roll as far as they can over.
Would you ever try and freeze on that one, Joel, or just not at this point right now?
I think it's a little too early.
Yeah.
I like this shot call, kind of hit and roll as far as you can over. You wouldn't hit the other rock just because there might be a jam possibility, but I like this shot call. It's going to be eventually Del Conte's going to have to make a decision because these rocks are so spread out well. If they don't see a rollout by BC, He might have to make a decision to freeze, Shane, and he might do that later.
It's such a tough double right now that, yeah, at some point I think maybe during skip rocks he's going to have to try and freeze. I don't know.
So this one thrown a little bit big by Joshua Mickey, the third. Del Conte's going to work his best to try and get this one out. It's spilling, and it will just stay around.
And that shot right there takes away the freeze opportunity as of right now, because a freeze on that, I don't even think you're shot. So
exactly. The only reason you might freeze here too, Shane, is if you freeze and all of a sudden he blasts it, then you can hit this open one and keep the blank alive.
Right, then you have your blank.
He's going to switch gears, though. He's going to go hit this other one. Hitting this other one in the right spot is important. You want to stay on the nose or maybe a little bit high side, but you got to stay in the rings too, because if you don't stay in the rings, all of a sudden BC splits the house again on you and you're back to square one.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we get our first look. I guess since our live stream was a little bit late, our first look at the third for Ontario. This is Nick Moore. He's out of Hamilton, Ontario, the Steel Town, as we were told yesterday.
He jams on the back.
A little bit. So he does jam. However, he is shot rock, so Sato probably will just pick this one out. Is probably the better play. Sato, we've been very impressed with his shot calling all week. Him and Del Conte, not just being the #1 seeds all week, but they've proved it with not only their shot-making ability, but their strategy. They're just so mature in their shot calling.
Have you noticed a lot of rocks in play, or has it been kind of
a very good balance?
Very open?
Very good balance.
Yeah.
I think both these skips have kind of learned when to take risks and when they don't have to. So
yeah, and just like you called, they're just picking that one out, not even worrying about possibly jamming that, on that back yellow in the 12-foot, just quick pick out, which is a really good decision.
And it's just a testament to their coaching too. Obviously, Joshua Mickey just made that shot, and this team, BC, is coached by Brian Mickey, who is the 2000 Brier champ and world champ with Greg McCauley. So bringing that experience is often huge in an event like this when you're not used to maybe the national stage. Right now, if you look around the bleachers, we're completely full.
Yeah, it is packed out here. My goodness.
So
incredible atmosphere out there for the kids.
A roll out there by Moore is going to allow BC a chance to split the house again. And once again, we've come back to this point already, but Sato throwing low-stress shots early in the game, this is how you gain confidence in a gold medal final.
Yeah, and especially like you talked about in the first end, like draws. It's so key to get that draw weight because you're going to need it. And to have that in the first two ends, it's going to be huge for him.
So Sato looking to split the house. And we've got to make note of their lineup too here. Dawson Ballard, their second, actually holds the broom for skip Sato.
Interesting.
Maybe a little bit better line caller, or maybe they just defer to Mickey to be a better sweeper and judge. So
right.
I didn't actually ask the boys about that one, so we can only speculate. Maybe somebody watching online can give us a little bit more. I know
inside info.
Yeah.
This draw looks pretty perfect. As he draws the top 8.
So by staying up high there, Shane, they're going to keep the spacing as much as possible. They don't want to go a little bit. If they go any deeper there, they make the double a little bit easier. So by leaving a little higher, now it's a little bit steeper. Del Conte is going to try just to hit this and roll kind of in front of that other one and maybe get a blank out of it.
Yeah, the double's almost impossible for Del Conte, so he's not even going to take that on right now, just trying to hand roll like you said and try and make a jam possibility for Sato.
So Del Conte, Daniel Del Conte, the 16-year-old skip from Ontario. He's actually out of Stony Creek, Ontario. Been rock solid all week. We're expecting another great game out of him. He's going to hit this one right on the nose, though. Not get much roll, and another one of those low-stress shots for Sato.
Yeah, I like his hit weight there. There was like kind of a hacky board type of weight. It's always nice trying to control that, especially when you got good sweepers. You can need a high side to make it curl more or keep it straight. So I like that type of weight. And you find that a lot more now, especially, you know, watching the Scotties. I mean, all those teams just using a nice weight that you can control. You know, nothing too, you know, crazy high like peel weight or normal hit weight or anything like that.
Exactly, Shane, and we've been talking about that all week. The teams that we've seen have success are the teams that keep their hit weight kind of down. Even here you see Sato, this isn't big. He's going to probably throw at most control, maybe normal weight, make sure it goes, but throwing a little less weight, they'll be able to control it with their sweepers a little bit more and manage it.
Yeah.
This one a little in-out on release, though. He's going to hope that it stays around, and it's not actually. It's going to spin to the wings and hit the boards. Ontario almost forgot that they could get the blanket.
Wait a minute. Yeah, the whole end they've been chasing, and they're like, oh, wait a minute. What?
We can get
what
the
we got here?
So an unfortunate miss there by Sato is going to allow Ontario the chance to blank. BC leading here 2-0 after one end of play and looking for the blank to retain the hammer going to the third.
Yeah, I don't think even Sato overthrew that too badly. It just stayed out there. And, yeah, unfortunately rolled out for him.
We've seen that spot here, Shane, and we'll have to keep an eye on it throughout the game, but the out turn going towards the bleachers. So you see the bleachers kind of
very straight.
It's very straight. So this side that Del Conte's throwing now, the in turn coming away from the bleachers, has curled a little bit more.
Okay.
So you're seeing they're trying to keep this straight, but this side will curl.
It might be right on the nose. Oh, no, he's got it.
Done, just
perfect.
Great sweeping there by Sam Guilbeau, keeping it straight and getting the blank.
Crazy how an end can change. One shot, eh? In curling, one shot. I mean, the whole end, BC's in control. They're going to force, and then, you know, unfortunately, Sato misses wide a little bit, and all of a sudden, we have a blank.
Yep.
The force is off the table.
Off the table, and the blank is back on.
Is back in.
So 2-0 BC after two ends of play. So a quick update, just looking across the sheets. We'll go across the rings with Joel and Shane.
Across the rings.
So Manitoba, in the boys' bronze medal game, took one early. I believe they actually stole one in that first end because on Newfoundland, I think, had hammer. So Manitoba stealing one.
Tons of rocks in play in second end, too.
Manitoba actually sitting 3 right now without hammer in the second. Newfoundland looking to make a little run back. He's going to over curl and actually spin another Manitoba stone in, and they're now sitting 4. So an unfortunate break there for Newfoundland. Keep going across on sheet 8, the girls' bronze medal game. Nova Scotia leading 2-1 after New Brunswick was forced to 1 in the second end. So Nova Scotia leading 2-1 with hammer going into the third. On our girls' gold medal game, I can't confirm what just happened. 2 for Ontario. So if you're an Ontario fan, you're happy. 2 for Ontario early to get a 2-0 lead after 2. And, of course, on our sheet, BC leading 2-0.
And I just got a 14.5 for that, so that's perfect. You know, top 4 button weight. Seems to be pretty consistent, hasn't it, throughout the week? I mean, Wade makes this ice so unbelievable. The ice technician here at the Red Deer Curling Club.
It was a tough word.
Yeah. And, you know, it seems pretty awesome. Have you seen that throughout probably this week, Joel?
It's been so consistent. Wade and his team have done such a great job. We're getting 4 feet of curl with 14.5 second ice, so, and that stays consistent. And 1 through 8. Sorry. We actually saw an extra end yesterday, and the times were consistent in the extra end as well. So,
and it's amazing, you know, even like I play here every Thursday, and it's just amazing how well they keep it. You know, do such a great job.
Absolutely. So a big shout out to Wade and his crew. So BC goes top 4. Ontario looking to get a deuce here back maybe. Throws up the corner guard. Placed perfectly there by their lead. Vince Barbon, or Barbon. Is it French, Willow? Will, you got to help me out. You're like Vince's #1 fan, so.
#1
Is it Barbon or Barbon? We don't know. But Willow knows. She will comment on it within, I'm giving it 30 seconds.
And Chung for Team BC with a perfect center guard.
We've talked about that so much this week, Shane. As you get higher level competitions, how important is the lead?
It's You know, it's crazy how important really the lead is to set up that end for you. You just notice it everywhere, and I think that's changed throughout the game, you know, throughout the years. I mean, everyone has this mindset that, oh, it's the lead, whatever, just throwing those first 2 rocks, no one really cares. But now in the game, you know, you see like Lisa Weigel with the tick shots for Rachel Holman. You know, they're so key to this game and every position, you know, now lead, second, third, like everyone just part of the team.
Absolutely. So fantastic shot there by Vince Barbin. There's no accent. Thank you, Willow, for confirming. So Vince Barbin with a perfect freeze there. Really sets up this end.
We've seen 4 perfect shots in this end.
To start this end.
That's great to see. And that's what you expect, right? Gold medal game, 2 best teams, Joel.
2 best teams all week.
That's what you expect to see.
So now Dawson Ballard. He's going to also try and freeze on here. Angle's important, though. If you ever bounce off a little bit, you leave a double for Team Ontario to kind of get out of this mess.
Exactly.
So, little light's not bad, though. Light is your miss if you're BC. If you kind of axe this over and kind of cover your rock top 4, not too terrible. So, a good miss there by Dawson Ballard. I know he's going to consider it a miss, but that's a very good position.
Spot to leave. Yeah, you don't want to be deep, like you said, and try and bump him too much and leave that double, like you mentioned. You know, leaving up there when you're trying to force or either steal, it's perfectly fine.
So now Sam Guilbeau will try and get rid of both of those. It's coming out like a rocket here.
That is the uphill. In our curling, you know, I play on Joel's team on Tuesday nights. We like to call that the uphill Joel weight, out of the building weight there.
So he does get both guards out of the way. That's the important thing. He moved the one to a corner guard, which isn't a bad thing. BC now just sitting 1, but going to have to deal with this rock on the top 4.
With that type of ice, is he going to play probably like a normal Joel, do you think, or is he playing like a board?
We'll have to see. I didn't see actually what the call. With that ice, though, you got to think he's got to be keeping a little bit up. Maybe control.
Okay.
That looks kind of what he's throwing. Kind of control-y normally. Control-y normally, if that's a term.
I think it is now.
This one will curl, though. And we've seen this all week.
Yeah.
And you're not going to like this result if you're Team BC unless you stick this right behind the guard. Which
interesting result there.
Kind of spun both.
It's like a sneaky good. Because you can't play the peel now if you're Ontario to try and get it because it's really dangerous. So if you just try and freeze one in there for now. So sneaky good.
We'll see if the teams pick up on that as we go through this game, Shane, how this side curling away from the bleachers is going to curl way more than going towards it.
Well, you're right. I mean, he played like kind of a control a little bit down there, and that thing moved a ton. I know he was a little tight, but that still moved a lot on him.
And we see that oftentimes. The kids might not be used to it, but when you're right next to a crowd, the heat on the one side coming off all the spectators, we probably have upwards of 100 and something spectators out there.
Yeah, it's packed out there.
Will influence the ice a little bit. It'll heat the ice up on that side, which we'll see more curl coming away from that.
This is where we need Lowell. We need your dad here to have that description of exactly, what that does to the ice. And like you said, these kids don't know. I mean, they've never had 200 people to the right of their ice, right? Like it's a new thing to kind of learn and discover and figure out.
Exactly. So good.
I don't even know what that feels like. I don't even know that.
That was the coolest thing about the Canada Games back in 2007. Just the crowd.
Just the packed crowd, eh? Yeah. It's like
all eyes on you.
Yeah.
I actually fell on TSN that game too.
I've heard there might have been some swear words by some people too. Is that true?
I don't know if I swore.
Did a coach possibly?
Oh, that was my mom actually when my sister was at Canada Games.
Oh, different era. Okay.
Yeah, that was my mom.
Okay.
I think actually when my sister was at the junior final, my mom happened to swear on TV.
Don't worry, Nancy. We won't tell TSN.
No. Your secret
is
safe with us.
Keep it low.
So, Team BC with a nice little split there. I like that shot call. Ontario with a little split. BC with this Wow, let's catch up here, Joel. BC
Ontario,
with the split.
yeah.
Ontario with the nose hit, and now BC. Oh, my goodness.
It's okay.
Ontario rolled out. At this point, this is like draw 15 of Colin Curling. My head is scrambled. Yikes. So Ontario obviously wanted to stick around there, would have set up a multiple for them, but it's not a bad rollout to roll that way. If you would have rolled towards your own, you would have set up a double. So to roll out, BC's going to have to deal with it.
It is unfortunate. I think they were trying to roll behind their corner guard that they had set up, which would have been really nice for them. I think they could have been sitting two possibly, but anyway, it would have been really nice. Now BC, I'm not really sure what you play here. Just freeze on your yellow, try and tap your yellow?
I think so. Oh, good question by Spud Hoodify on our comment section. She said, or he, I'm not sure who it is this already BC's 4th game in 2 days? This would be, let me look it up here for you. So BC played yesterday morning. They played against Alberta in the last round-robin game. They played last night in the semifinal against Manitoba, and then this morning, the gold medal game. So this would be their 3rd game in 2 days. Kind of consistent throughout the Canada games, though, Spud Hoodified. Great question. Most of the teams are playing at least 2 games a day. There was some days where we actually had 3 draws. So if a team that was actually didn't get the bye to the semifinal would have won, they would have played 3 games yesterday and then again today. So
it's a really interesting concept, like how you look at that. Do you like seeing the ice for as many times as you want, or do you like a break? You know, like there's benefits to both, and there's probably negatives to both. I don't know what the best way or the best way to handle that, I guess. Absolutely.
I think that's one of the things that these kids, when they're not on the national stage all the time, they're not quite used to this. They're not quite used to the grind that is. This is upwards of, what is this now, their 15th game? Team BC's 15th game.
That's a lot in a week.
And we started on Sunday, so in 6 days they've played. This is now their 15th game. So yes, Spud Hoodify, it's great to see great sweeping on both sides, from Ontario and from BC, and actually all our teams that are still playing today for a medal. The commitment and the work ethic that it takes to stay in shape this late in the week is a testament to their skill, preparation, and training, I guess.
I think the other thing with these games, too.
Goodness.
That's okay, 15, close enough. 12 to 15, somewhere in that range. But I think, they're not even thinking about anything. I mean, there's so much adrenaline going through there. They know this is the last game, gold medal game, adrenaline, everything's going through them.
So I was corrected by Helen Radford. 12th game in 6 days. So still, it's a lot, especially for these kids that aren't used to this competition. So BC, look at that.
Shot. Beauty by Sato.
Double, run back, double.
And almost stuck his own behind the corner guard, too.
Gotta love that.
That was a beauty.
Sato's been so strong all week, and you never see him rattled. Even when he makes a big shot like that, I don't think there was any real celebration. Just kind of gets
seems
up.
Calm. Just another day at the office, eh?
Yeah. So we're getting a replay here on our monitor. Hit just off nose, ran him back, and made the run back double. He actually almost stuck 2, and it just rolled out. The BC crowd went wild.
Went wild.
Our statistician is saying, Jay is saying that he's going to give him a 5. But we knew what happened yesterday when we gave him a 5. We can't give him. Can't do it. Oh, somebody's already given us a dislike. That's rude. Is it our audio or is it our commentary?
Both.
Both. The fact that we didn't get started on time?
Yeah.
It's not our fault. Forgive us.
Now Ontario trying to high side this. Del Conte a little outside. Well, and we just, as we talked about, perfect weight. Even, it was almost like a back line kind of pack. Trying to get that huge roll, but good enough.
Great shot there by Del Conte. So we did see a little bit more curl there. They thought they might have been outside, but that curl away from the bleachers is going to curl a little bit more. Now Sato, it would be nice if Sato could roll this a little bit behind a guard and maybe force Ontario to a single. However, they'd be happy with just getting rid of it too.
Yeah, if he could, I think he's going to try and roll behind the Ontario corner, I think. But I don't know for sure here.
So Sato here. His inspiration is Mark Kennedy.
He will be close to the corner.
Look at this kid. Just keeps making shots.
So close. Being perfect again. This is a tough shot for Del Conte to hit and roll and try and blank this again.
And got to be careful with this, too. This is the side that will be a little bit straighter, Shane. So I know it didn't look perfect by Sato, but to make Del Conte throw this in-turn towards the crowd will run a little bit straighter. So they got to be careful on this one.
This could be a benefit, especially if he's trying to blank for that straighter side. He's not taking a ton of ice. Definitely a lot different than, like you said, you know, on this side compared to what he just took.
So David pointed out, and we're going to do an update here afterwards, but Manitoba boys did steal 5, Shane.
That's huge.
Against Newfoundland in the bronze medal game.
In an 8-end game, that is huge.
So Del Conte here looking for the blank.
Looked like he played normal hit weight at that.
So Sam Guilbeau is second, trying to keep it straight for him. And I think he's done just that. This is a great shot by Del Conte.
Perfect. Another blank.
So Ontario retain the hammer going to the 4th end. They'll probably looking to be score. They've had a few ends set up, and then all of a sudden, Sato made an unbelievable shot. That
Sato ruined it all.
Yes,
ruined it all.
He ruined it all with a run back double. Double run back double.
And yeah, like you said, in this 4th end, definitely looking to score. We'll see corner guards. We'll see pretty much the same thing. I'm sure we'll see Team BC draw the 4-foot here, then a corner, and then everything starts going.
So Ontario, BC, 2-0 BC after 3 ends of play. Quickly looking across the streets, like we said, Manitoba boys stealing 5 in the 2nd end. Now leads 6-0 over Team Newfoundland after 2 ends of play. Newfoundland's going to have to take some chances to get back in that 8-end game. The girls' side of things, their bronze medal game, there's a girl's head right in the way, but I believe it's 2-1 for Nova Scotia, or is it 1?
I think it's
1-1.
1-1.
1-1, or sorry, no, it is 2-1. Because Nova Scotia scored 2 in the first. So 2-1 Nova Scotia over New Brunswick after 2 ends of play. They're in the 3rd end. Ontario girls, they scored 2 in the 2nd end. And a blank by Manitoba in the 3rd, so 2-0 Ontario after 2 ends of play. And on our sheet, 2-0 BC after 3 ends of play. So BC working on to keep this one as close as they can to the 4-foot, shrink that scoring zone for Ontario. And like Shane said and predicted, we're going to try and go in the house, and Del Conte is going to go with the corner guard.
I wonder, he went with the corner guard with the out turn last time. Looks like it's the same thing, yeah.
We got a text from Manitoba saying that it's very, very quiet on the TV on the stream.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we just talk louder?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like literally, a guy just walked over and he's like, he showed me his text and they have a picture of their laptops up there and it says, tell them to give them more volume.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Don't know how much louder. Can we go louder than this?
Can always go louder.
Louder. Let's see how loud we can go here. Ooh, there we go. Does that sound better? That's got to be louder.
We are louder, hopefully.
Oh, that's loud.
And yeah, let us know if it is too loud or if you want us to be louder. Let us know.
We're here for our viewers. So now BC, after the corner guard by Ontario, BC's going to try and tap their one back right to the 4-foot. They're unfortunately going to stay a little bit on the high side, kick their own behind. Well, it's going to be edge to edge about with the corner guard and roll into the side 8-foot.
It gives an opportunity here for Team Ontario to hit and roll behind their corner.
Let's get. What am I singing? So Vincent Barber going to try and hit this one. Roll in behind. Just see. Yeah. I think it's theirs, yeah. I think our side's pretty loud.
Let us know in the chat if we are too loud if we are perfect loudness or if we are under loud.
So Ontario rolls out there. Vincent Barbin was just a little bit wide on his, narrowly missed the double. And now Dawson Ballard, the second for BC. They've called just kind of top 4 foot here, but look at this side, how it's straighter, Shane, even with draw weight.
Yeah, way more. So straight, just stayed out there. I mean, that's a perfect weight, top 4, and that thing stayed. Didn't even make it to the center line. Yeah, interesting.
Keep an eye on that throughout this game. Perfect loudness confirmed. Oh, agreed. Well, thank you, David, and Maine Results Center, 2019 Canada Winter Games. That is a long name.
I like it.
Shout out to everybody in the Results Center. They do such a fantastic job, basically locked in small rooms. I would go crazy if I was in those rooms, putting in results all day. I'd feel like Russell Crowe off A Beautiful Mind. Just going crazy.
Just going crazy. That's perfect hit and roll by Team Ontario.
Well managed on shots like that. Hit and rolls often get taken for granted how...
they're so tough.
They're so tough. They take a good line call. They take the right weight. They take a good sweeping.
It takes everyone to be perfect to make it happen. And even seeing the professionals, like I think by far it's the toughest shot, that you see on a regular basis. Obviously, the double run backs and stuff. That's tough. But on a regular basis, the hit and rolls are so tough to judge and everything like that.
So BC looking to just pick this one, just get enough.
Team BC is playing really well. Another perfect shot there, just picks it out. But the only thing with that gives a chance for Ontario to go behind the corner and open up a deuce, or a 2 possibility.
Deli Creations, thank you for changing how we're pronouncing Sato. Hayato Sato. Ah, perfect.
Sato.
So Sato and Team BC sitting one here in the fourth end. Ontario looking to draw around this corner guard. Weight is important here. It looks like it's running a little bit. That does indicate to me that it is a little bit heavy. Boys aren't touching it either. It kind of gives it away.
Yeah, it looks close to back 8 or so. I mean, anywhere buried's okay.
Great shot there, though.
Yeah.
Sato not going to take any chances.
Interesting that he's going to peel here and kind of
conceding the deuce.
Yeah, conceding the 2. Really interesting. Huh. Here in the 4th, especially too, because you kind of want to force in the 4th.
Yeah. But they're going to go with the peel regardless. And a great shot there by Joshua Mickey. That kid's such a polished curler at such a young age already. You can tell he gets a lot of experience from his dad and his grandpa, obviously.
Now, Joel, would you ever freeze on that yellow? Would you ever do that? Try and open up a 3, or are you just taking your 2?
I don't, Shane, just for the reason that a freeze is obviously way harder than a hit and stick.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't make the freeze perfect, BC's hitting my other rock, and all of a sudden I'm forced.
Right, yeah. Especially in 4, take your 2.
Yeah.
If
you hit this, even if you do end up rolling out, you got a blank. You obviously want to score your 2. And which he's going to do, and that keeps the rock spaced out as much as possible, and it's just an easier shot to manage, I guess, down the sheet.
Right. Anytime you have hammer, you're looking for 2 or more or blank, basically, right? So
absolutely. So now Ontario set up for their 2 here. Sato's going to ask his 3rd, Joshua Mickey, to hit this one, roll as much as he can over towards the other one. Try and cluster those stones together. This one seems to be hanging a little bit bigger weight here by Mickey. And it has backed up a little bit. It's going to roll right out.
Gives him a chance to split the house. Even though it was pretty much split anyway, maybe even a little more.
Absolutely. So a good chance there.
In this game, the forehands we've seen, it's been very, very open game, which is shows two good teams going at it. And I mean, not many mistakes. Great play by both teams so far.
So it's a big deuce here in the fourth end for Ontario to get back in this game and tie things up, going to our fourth end break. These 8-end games just seem to fly by.
Oh, no doubt. That's crazy.
I can't imagine back in the days when they played this same amount of games, but 10-end games. And actually, I had Keith Glover on earlier this week, Shane, and he said when they won Canada games in 75, there were 10-end games. They played about 3 games a day, and it was corn brooms. Can you imagine sweeping with a corn broom for 3 games a day, 10-end games?
And you played 8-end?
It was 10. It was 10-end in 2007 still.
Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, they didn't move to the 8-ends until, I think, 2015 games. I think Jocelyn was still 10-ends when she was in 2011 as well.
And what do you like 10-ends? Do you think 8's fine for this age level, or?
I like 8 personally.
Yeah.
I think even some of the men's teams and women's teams on the Slam Tour are saying that they like the 8-end games as well. So I know they are still, Curling Canada still has 10-end games at the Briars and the Scotties, but
right.
I think a lot of teams are starting to go and like more of the 8-end games.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting to think how, 2 ends, I think about it in baseball. When you play 7 or 9 inning games, you don't really expect those 2 more innings or 2 ends to make a difference, but it really does. It does make a huge difference, so it's really interesting to think about.
Exactly.
And I don't know what's perfect. Like, who knows, what's the perfect, gameplay, but, yeah.
Sato kind of looking at his hand here. I don't know if he nicked his hand. He's bleeding, actually. Sato's actually bleeding. I don't know what happened there.
An injury.
Injury in curling. What has happened?
On his throwing hand, too.
So important shot here for Del Conte. Sometimes we also take these ones for granted when it's just a nose hit. However, to keep his 2 in play, he's got to roll a little bit to the outside. If you happen to hit right on nose or roll anywhere towards your own blue, there would be a double for Sato.
And yeah, he's been on fire today, so you don't want to give him an opportunity at all.
Exactly. So they got to stay on this one. Vince Barbin going to try his best to keep it on the high side. It's important to roll away. You don't want to stay on nose here. He's going to roll a little bit, but there is still going to be the angle there for the double.
Yeah, the double is there for sure. It's a little flat, but it's definitely there. As Sato is getting some repairs.
Yeah, we might have an injury timeout here. So injury/officials timeout. Sato has a bloody finger.
Have you ever seen this before, Joel? Is this new?
I don't know how it happened, to be honest. We'll have to, let's see if we can replay and see what happened maybe on his shot.
Didn't look like anything. I don't know. Did he get mad, slam the egg?
I don't know what happened.
So there's something new for everyone watching. An injury to the skip's
finger,
his throwing hand. And that's why we have the timeout right now.
So both the time clocks will stop. It's a good time to mention the thinking time if you're not too comfortable with it. Each team will receive 30 minutes of thinking time, which will start when your opponent's rock comes to rest, and then your time will stop once you cross the near tee line.
Have we seen any teams get close, Joel? No.
No, the teams manage it so well at this level. Their coaches are taught them so well to play quickly and be decisive. And when there's a time clock up there, you tend to play faster. I wish some of our teams maybe on our Tuesday night league would have a time clock up there.
Yeah, I don't think even watching the Scotties we saw anyone even get close,
no.
Which is good. Good to see.
So Sato back on here. Did he get a Band-Aid on there?
I really hope so. I would assume that's what happened during that break.
You would hope this wouldn't influence him either. Obviously, it's a bloody throwing finger, but you would hope it doesn't get in his head because he's barely missed already this morning. We'll keep an eye on it for you guys, though. I never knew I'd have to do an injury update during a curling match. Regardless, Sato has a double attempt here. He's been close on almost everything. They're going to have to keep this one straight. Give him a chance. He's close, though, Shane.
Yeah, it's really close.
Look at this. Get out. Great shot.
Just enough. Perfect.
Flat double by Sato. What a shot.
What injury.
What injury.
That Band-Aid fixed everything.
I love it. Powering through the injury. This kid has made everything. Good for him.
And it's kind of a sneaky place he left because it's kind of a tough blank to go out that.
I think he can go
our
low.
left.
I think he can go a little bit
He's got
low.
enough room? Okay.
However,
he can't hit too thick.
It's more mindset here for Del Conte.
Yeah.
That's the second in a row that he's had 2 or 3 set up, and Sato's just taken it away from him. So really you have to focus in the hack here and say, I'm happy with the blank. I'm not too happy, but I'll take it. He's good. Good shot there.
Yeah. Another blank. Another exciting. That was an exciting blank.
We've had a few of those. Like the last 2 ends, like I said, BC's kind of stolen it away from Del Conte. So we'll go to the 4th end break. They'll have about 5 minutes here to eat some snacks and rest up, talk about strategy going forward. I don't imagine Ontario's going to switch too much up. They just need some misses from BC.
Exactly.
Both teams playing over the 90s in that end, so
just shows how good this game is.
The quality.
Been, really. Yeah.
That's a testament to the skill here. You're seeing future Olympians. You got to think you're seeing some kind of future Olympians or at least future players on the tour or at the Scotties or the Brier that you're seeing in front of us today, Shane. So
exactly. I mean, yeah, it's crazy to think about, especially, seeing Team BC. I think about, Tardy, Tyler,
3 Canadian championships in a row.
Yeah, that guy's incredible, that team, and yeah.
That team didn't even win the Canada Games when they were here, Shane.
Really?
Tyler Tardy won the bronze medal. I think he was only like 12 when he was here, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's like 19 right now.
Yeah, so.
I think they said he still has another year at junior.
It's crazy.
That's unbelievable, that kid.
Updates quickly. Manitoba on the boys' side in complete control. They now lead their bronze medal game against Newfoundland 8-0 after 3 ends of play. Newfoundland got to get something going, or you'll see the boys from the Buffalo province take home a medal. On the girls' side of things, in their bronze medal game, another strong game by Nova Scotia. I've been really impressed with that Nova Scotia girls team this week. They had a tough loss last night to Ontario in the semifinal, but they're bouncing back. They lead 5-1 over New Brunswick after 3 ends of play, with nothing really going on here, and I think New Brunswick just drew for their 1. They did. So New Brunswick gets 1 in the 4th. Nova Scotia now leads 5-2. After 4 ends of play, they will have hammer in the 5th. On the girls' gold medal game, Manitoba girls made a great shot on their last one to get 2, kind of snuck by a guard, tapped an Ontario Stone out, and they get 2 back. So now tied up Ontario 2-2 after 4 ends of play. And on our feature sheet, it is 2-0 BC after 4 ends of play. Okay,
exciting everywhere.
Exciting everywhere. Shane and I will be back in the booth here. We're going to go get some snacks, maybe a water, and be back from the 2019 Canada Games from Red Deer, Alberta. So we're back in action here. From the 5th end, the Canada Winter Games, BC leading 1-0. Or 2-0. Blah. 2-0.
2-0.
And we kind of expected this, but they've gone right onto the top 8 foot, putting the pressure on Team Ontario. Now Team Ontario's lead, Vincent Barbin, going to try and get up a corner guard.
And like you said, like lead for BC has been just so consistent. Chung has been like just starting off the ends for Team BC just perfect every time. That's why we've seen these ends, you know, develop the way they have. And as you talked about earlier, how important a lead is now, it's showing right now.
Troy Chung and Vincent Barbin both playing fantastic in this game. Barbin gets his guard up.
Another perfect corner.
So Chung was actually, as he throws here, we can kind of talk about him. He was awarded the Sportsmanship Award at this year's U18 National Championships. We've seen that so much. I've looked through all the bios, and we have so many sportsman awards, which is a testament to how well these kids behaved on and off the ice.
It's awesome. Great to see that.
So now Chung looking to tap his own back to the forefoot. And would you expect any different?
Yeah,
taps it basically to the button. It does expose it a little bit.
Still really good. Just didn't curl as much as they thought.
No, but a good shot nonetheless. That one is. Thank you.
And we haven't seen Ontario really go away from their game plan. You know, we'll see another hit and roll here. I don't know if at any time, maybe later, maybe in 6, 7, 8, we'll see if they go double corners. I don't, you know, or it'll be interesting to see if they change up their strategy at all.
So David, you asked us a good question on the comments there. You said, will we be broadcasting the medal ceremony after the games? We actually asked that question in our 5th end break, and we're waiting for an answer. So we'll let you know as soon as it's over here. Sorry, as soon as we find out, we'll let you know.
Yeah, I think, you know, we obviously won't be commenting for that, but I think we'll leave like a, you know, a camera on there as far as, you know, if we were to do that. So I guess we'll see.
So Ontario with the nose hit of the top one. It's going to allow BC a chance to hit this, maybe roll a couple feet. Good shot there by Ballard, and kind of underrated where he rolled that one too.
Yeah, it puts it in a tough position. It does leave a double, like a double, a hit and roll to behind, you know, behind the Ontario corner, but it was a nice roll.
And it exposes the right side of the rock. If you kind of leave the other side exposed, you might try and hit that back one, roll behind the guard. So now Guilbeau going to try and hit this top one and roll behind as much as he can. My dad, Lowell Peterman, was just in the booth too. We could have asked him that question about the heat off the crowd.
The crowd, yeah.
He's walked away though. Probably needs a coffee.
Really nice shot by Guilbeau. Guilbeau? Yeah. Jammed the double, but still was really close to that. Tough position for Ballard to hit this for Team BC.
So Ballard now going to throw, I'm expecting like a board weight here. Try and hit this blue. See kind of that board control weight. He wouldn't be too upset if he racked on the guard because you could get the guard off. However, the important thing here is to try and get the one in the house and stick around. They're going to try and high side this with Joshua Mickey. High siding meaning to sweep at the direction the rock is curling to try and get it to curl, and he's done a great job. Probably rolled a little bit farther than they wanted. However, great job there by Mickey to help out Ballard and get it to curl and stick in the rings.
Yeah, really nice shot. I'm surprised Team Ontario is going to come this way. Would this be the way that you would take for the sin roll, Joel?
I think the only reason they maybe do that, I would play the other turn personally, but I think the way that maybe they're thinking is they can control a little bit better because they know this side curls a little bit more.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
But a little bit, this looks like a little big weight. And a little bit big weight, it will run a little bit straighter. And it's going to roll a little bit too far. But like you saw there, Shane, it does curl a little bit more that side, so a little bit more room for error, a little bit easier to manage for the sweepers.
For sure, yeah, it makes sense. Obviously, they know the ice a little more than I do, so I'll trust their judgment.
That's why they're down there and we're up here.
Exactly.
So Sato was going to ask for Mickey to kind of hit the one in the side of the 8-foot, side of the 12-foot.
And they were talking about peeling again, opening up again, leaving that 2 for Ontario. But they decided against that.
So they're going to go back. Mickey doesn't look convinced on this one.
Oh, they're going to call timeout.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think they were quite convinced.
Yeah, good. You know, if you're not too convinced, you know, between a team, do you have 2 timeouts or just 1 timeout?
2 timeouts.
2 timeouts, yeah. So they haven't used one yet. Take a timeout, discuss it with, you know, full team, get the coach out there.
Obviously bring Brian Mickey out with that Briar experience.
Yeah, he obviously knows a little bit, you know, with a championship in there.
Exactly. Check over on our girls' game. Looks like Manitoba is sitting one. They've thrown up a center guard here. Ontario looking to get by tight and kind of hit and roll. Meanwhile, on our sheet, Coach Brian Mickey of Team BC talking to his teammates about what the best option is here.
And Joel, what would you do here?
Coach's hat, as Dustin would like to say. Put my coach's hat on.
Put it on. Tell me and tell the millions of viewers now watching our stream right here. What would you do?
Our millions of viewers, I would actually tell them to play kind of a board weight, hit the rock that's in the house, and try and stay right on the nose. If you happen to roll behind the guard, all of a sudden Ontario might freeze or play a hit and roll on the top one and sit in front of you. So it's important to stay nose or maybe a roll to a little bit to the outside. You're going to allow Ontario to hit and roll off the top one, but I think that's the best option. The only other thing you could play is you could play a peel on the top blue and try and actually run it back into the one in the house. Mm-hmm. And you play it, if you get just the straight peel, yes, you are conceding the 2, but it's the odd end. You would only give up 2 at the most by getting rid of the guard.
Right.
And then you'd be tied up with Hammer playing an even end.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, if you hit and roll underneath a little bit, that does, I guarantee you, Ontario would freeze that, and that would open up a 3 possibility even, you know, so we'll see. It looks like they decided on the hit, probably on the nose, like you said. We shall see.
That's where I would leave this, trying to leave this right on the nose. If anything, roll a little bit to the outside.
And the other dangerous thing is if you roll out here, then Team Ontario opens up the 2 for them as they'll try and get buried underneath their corner guard.
I don't quite like the weight choice there.
No, it looks like he threw like almost normal at that, and I guess that just stayed straight the whole way down.
I guess they were maybe worried a little about if they racked on the guard would have stayed around, plus they wouldn't have got the one in the house, so throwing that bigger weight would have got the peel if they racked.
Right.
However, just a little bit of an overthrow, maybe a little in-out on the release by Mickey. He did peel the rock in the house, but like Shane said, here goes Ontario around the guard trying to get a 2.
It would have been nice, you know, like you see on TV, to listen to the discussion, you know, that they had with their coach there and see what their decision
thought process.
Yeah, their thought process was through that.
Yeah. So Nick Moore trying to take full advantage. If they can get this thing buried is the most important.
Exactly. Anywhere buried in the house, basically. It looks like they're going to get it there.
They're going to go right deep, and they're actually still shot rock, too. So he's about, I would say, 2/3 buried, 3/4 buried.
Yeah, I can't see too much of it.
But it is shot rock here for Ontario. Trying to get a deuce. No matter how well they've set them up here lately, though, Sato's kind of made things go away. So a big shot here by Mickey.
Tough shot here. I mean, at most, hack. Maybe back line to try and get this out of there, but it looks like it's close to hack.
And it is curling. This side, he is going to rack. Oof. And he's going to jam right on his one on the top 8-foot. Push that one through. So 2 is set up, but not terrible result. If you're BC, yes, you're disappointed you didn't get the one in the house, but by getting the guard off, the most Ontario is going to get is 2.
Yeah, that's the way to miss that shot for sure. Because, yeah, like you said, you're giving up 2 at most there. If you miss wide anywhere there, there's a good chance you're giving up 3.
Yeah, that's one of those pro side misses.
Exactly.
So for people watching at home that don't quite understand the strategy, a pro side miss is kind of when you still miss the shot you had called, but you get a good result out of it. If you were to miss wide on that last shot and flash everything, which we sometimes see at the younger levels, all of a sudden Ontario's drawing another round, one around there, and a 3 comes into play. Mickey gets the guard off, and yes, they have a chance of giving up 2 here, but the most they're giving up is 2, and they'll still be tied up with hammer.
Exactly.
And right on the nose for Ontario, Nick Moore. 2 good shots by Nick Moore. He actually made the Ryerson curling team, University of Ryerson curling team, as a freshman this year. Very smart team out of Ontario, and I'm not taking any from BC because I didn't talk to them about their academics, but Team Ontario, they have their second. Sam Guilbeau is going to attend Waterloo or Guelph on a computer science program. And the lead, Vincent Barbin, is actually going to attend McMaster this next year. He loves to cook, apparently.
Loves to
And Shane,
cook.
you'll like this because you're a big golf guy.
Yeah.
Vincent Barbin is actually going to be one of the greenskeepers for the Canadian Open
That's awesome.
at the Hamilton Golf and Country Club this year.
Yeah, good for him. That's cool.
So if any of the pros are complaining about the greens, it'll be Vince they blame.
All his fault. Yeah, okay.
So Sato trying to keep this one straight. A little bit down weight here, and he is going to roll out. That's kind of that side away from the bleachers that we've seen curl.
Yeah, exactly.
So where do you put this, Shane? Do you try and replace it?
Yeah, I think if you can even get it just a tad behind your way edge of the 12-foot guard over there, I think that's where I'd want it.
Yep.
Yeah. But they're taking a lot of ice for that.
Yeah, we haven't seen this side curl as much.
I don't think he's trying to go that far over with it. I don't think he's looking at that. I don't think it's a huge worry anyway, but because if he does get it half buried, I'm sure Team BC will just hit the open blue anyway. But
yeah,
just anywhere over probably in the
house.
12-foot, yeah.
So Del Conte, a low stress shot here in the 5th end, trying to split the house, keep his 2 alive, trying to tie this game up with BC after 5 ends. Boys are working on this one for him. Nick Moore looks like he wants to come out and help. The boys are working on it for him. They're going to try and drag this as far back as they can to avoid the double. And they've done just that. They've created a good angle here.
Yeah, there's
like you said, Shane, it didn't curl quite as much. That only curled probably 2.5, 3 feet.
Yeah, not too much. I mean, he basically hit the broom and was about button and ended up, just outside the edge of 4.
Yep. So now BC and Sato going to try and hit this one. He just saw this spot, so he should be familiar with it, Shane. I would be very surprised to see him not be close. So if he could ever hit this and roll behind the Ontario stone, it could be a sneaky little force.
The way he's been on today, I have a feeling this will be close. And he's not worried about as long as he hits the rock, he can basically,
Most he's given up is 2.
Right, exactly. So
Sato, maybe a little bit of a overcorrection. The first one overcurled, so he maybe put this one back a little bit. Chong's going to try and work on it for him and try and get it over there. I think this one's hitting right on the nose.
yeah, so it'll be an open hit for 2 to tie this game all up.
Del Conte taking the same turn as Sato. Try and hit this right on the nose and get his 2. Quick update looking across. It looks like Newfoundland got a little bit back. They took 3 in the 4th end and now trail Manitoba in the bronze medal game 8-3. But Manitoba looking like they're in full control. That team has come on so strong here in the second half of the week.
Yeah, when you're up 8-0, you're not too worried about giving up. As long as it's not 4 or 5,
Yeah.
get the hammer back. And
So Del Conte here looking for his 2. Like the way he threw this. Nice controlled weight. Can control it with his sweepers. Away from the boards, it's going to curl.
pretty good.
But he's perfect. I like the little fist pump. Quiet fist pump there by Del Conte.
quiet fist pump.
So 2-2. He got his dues finally.
Finally, after all these blanks and everything like that, finally worked out for him.
And we're not saying that as a criticism. It's just been Sato that continuously has been taking those 2s away from him.
Yeah, just good shot after good shot after good shot.
So BC finally not quite as sharp, and Ontario gets their 2 to tie things up. Ontario, you got to give them a lot of credit. They barely missed after the 2 was set up early in that end. So
Yeah, they did.
Nick Moore set that end up for them, making a good draw and then making his nose hit, kind of set it up for his skipper.
And now we get to see Team BC with hammer, so it'll be interesting to see if any, what their strategy will be. Obviously, probably the corner guard, but if they do double corners or, try and keep it open.
We haven't seen them with hammer since the first end, so.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So 2-2, BC on Ontario, and our gold medal game here at the 2019 Canada Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta. Del Conte knows the importance of stealing maybe in this even end.
Yeah, I think, as I said, we've seen Team BC try and, go top 4 with their first rocks. I think Team Ontario is going to want to leave this short 100% here because you don't really want any more blanks if you're Team Ontario.
Exactly.
Well, without hammer anyway.
So a cool little shout out to, this is what I thought was one of the coolest things about being in the gold medal final when I was in it, Shane, is right now if you look across the crowd, it's everybody. It's everybody that competed in the games right now. So if you look across, the Saskatchewan curling teams are here, the Nova Scotia curling teams are here, the Alberta curling teams are down here.
It's very colorful. You can see all the different colors from all the different provinces.
All coming to watch. So when all the teams that were competing all week and grinding all week now come to watch you, it's such a cool feeling.
Yeah, and it's packed out there. Like we've been saying since the beginning, an amazing crowd out here I guess this morning. Feels later than it is. It's only 11 o'clock here in Mountain Time here in Red Deer, so it's interesting. Feels later.
So Sato looking to keep things simple. He went open side. And Ontario not going to give in. They're going to actually take this one out and try and roll behind. So Vincent Barbin, Sam Guilbeau trying to help him out here, trying to make it curl, trying to get as much as he can behind the guard. He's actually going to hit on the outside and roll out. Saddle probably won't change strategies here and replace that stone.
Should play the same thing, just draw to the wing.
Girls gold medal update from there. Ontario just scored 2 in the 5th end and now lead 4-2 after 5 ends of play. In the bronze medal games, they are kind of pulling away both sides. Nova Scotia girls have scored 2 in the 5th and they now lead 7-2. And as indicated earlier, the Manitoba men were up big. They have hammer here in the 5th end, leading 8-3. However, it looks like Newfoundland's sitting a few in the 4-foot there in the bronze medal game. I can only see 2 rocks, but they look both in the 4-foot, and they're shooting right now. Yeah,
it looks a little iffy for Manitoba. It looks tricky situation for them over there.
Back on our sheet, Troy Chung. Kid hasn't missed. Throwing another rock exactly where Skipper told it, kind of T-line or better.
Yeah, he's got to be curling like, I don't know, like 95% or higher. Like,
the kid's been on fire.
I don't think we've seen him miss.
So now Sam Guilbeau, the Ontario second, going to try and hit this one. They saw the spot on the last one by Barbin, so maybe they can be a little bit closer on this one. Going to try and hit this and roll behind the center. They're on and off it. However, this is the straighter side.
Very much so, as we've seen. Again, a nice weight choice and gets a pretty good curl. I mean, almost the best he could do there.
So he rolls into the back of the 8-foot. Maybe tuck a little bit of piece. I think they can see basically all of it. Might be edge to edge.
Yeah, it looks very close to edge on edge.
So now Dawson Ballard going to try and hit this and roll to the wings.
And definitely good enough there. And as we've talked about, playing that, that lighter, that hack weight, that board weight is key, especially for those hidden rolls. Because if you play like a normal, if he played like a normal at that shot and where he hit it, there's a really good chance that was spilled out. But he played such a nice hack, boardy weight, that's going to stick around for him.
Rolled perfect. Ontario not wanting to take any chances. They're going to try and hit this one right on the nose.
And if Team BC does get the blank here, I think we'll see the same strategy going into 7. I mean, obviously, you're going to try and get, you want the hammer and 8.
Exactly.
As Skip, you want that last rock in your hands, and you want to draw whatever it is, 4 foot, whatever, for the win.
Both these skips look so cool under pressure that I would give both of them the really good chance of making it if that comes to it.
Yeah, for sure.
So BC, Ballard now going to try and do the same thing he just did on the last. Hit this about 3/4, roll to the outside.
You don't want to roll out.
Because all of a sudden Ontario might go around the center.
Just good enough. Yeah. Really perfect.
Really well managed. Good weight choice once again. Well managed by the sweepers.
Yeah, any rollout and Team Ontario's coming around that center line, and all of a sudden the force is on.
So now Nick Moore, the third from Hamilton, Ontario. Sam Guilbeau going to try and get this one to curl for him, maybe a little bit outside of where he wants to be. He's going to hit it right on the nose. Great weight again.
Yeah. I mean, both these teams have been just perfect with their weight choices.
Both teams pretty content to keep this simple, though, except one rollout.
Yeah,
I see somebody maybe go around the center.
It's not an easy shot out here. The wings are always tough, right? They're so straight.
A little bit more weight here by Mickey, too. And this one looks like it is going to roll out, so Ontario will have the advantage.
All right, so the force is on possibly here if they can get around that center line guard. And if you can get one right on the button, it's going to be tough to remove that. Easily could steal.
I like this turn shot choice too, Shane. Maybe picking up on this side, curls a little bit more.
Yeah, we haven't seen this way at all today, so it's going to be interesting.
So it's important to get right out to the broom on this side with it curling a little bit more.
Looks a little close, actually. They hammered it right out of his hand.
Might have thought he was light. Boys are trying to work on it for him. Trying to drag this as far as they can.
They have not
Guilbeau
stopped for this one.
Guilbeau and Barbin trying to give it everything they got. The crowd's cheering them on, and it's just short,
I think. And I think, coming that side was it was interesting, a little heavier out there possibly.
With more curl, it will be a little bit heavier. The straighter the ice, the farther it'll probably go generally.
And the front for Team Ontario pounded that out of his hand the whole way through. Tough sweep for them.
Yeah. So now Sato not wanting to take any chances. He's going to ask his third, Joshua Mickey, to double peel. Trying to get the guard off. He's going to stick the one right on the top of the kind of a short, tight guard.
Yeah, and he had a couple choices there. You can see the strategy going that. He did have an opportunity to go around and try and get his 2, but at this point, a little bit dangerous, so might as well go for the double peel and, work from there.
But by leaving that up there now, it's going to give that an opportunity to Del Conte again to try and get around it. Interesting that he's going to switch turns here, though, Shane. So he let his third, Nick Moore, throw the in-turn coming towards home, and now he's actually going to throw the out-turn. So maybe he's just more comfortable with his out-turn, or because that rock moved a little bit off the center line that he's decided to switch turns.
Yeah, maybe he saw or realize how heavy it was out there because no one's really been out there. He's like, not going to go that way this time, and trying to work through the other way with his out-turn.
So Daniel Del Conte, out of Stony Creek, 16-year-old. His dad is the skip, David Del Conte. And his role model is Brad Jacobs, who'll be curling on the Briar starting today.
Yeah, no doubt, yeah. Saw the wildcard game yesterday with Team Botcher getting in from Alberta.
Wow, of course, Alberta.
Of course.
Scheidegger wins the girls' wildcard game.
Right.
And there it is. There's a good instance of how this side's just a little bit straighter. I don't think he's even looking a little confused.
I just saw, he just talked to his third there saying, did I flip it out a little? Or, and they're discussing that now.
Let's watch the release. He was a little in out on his release, but not too much.
Yeah, a little bit, but still stayed Like,
Straight.
look at where that ended, or where that started, and look at where it ended. I mean,
only a couple feet of curl at
Exactly.
most. So now, Sato, an interesting situation here. Sorry, I'm tired this morning.
do you think he will try and hit and roll, or is he just trying to nose it, or hit and roll toward, the left-hand side looking at it?
I like the roll to the outside, Shane, just because if you ever roll right behind, yes, you have a chance at a 2, but if Ontario ever makes the run back and sticks it right
then you're
behind,
forced.
then you're forced.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad situation in the even end either, so they're trying to roll to the outside and stick it. Sato maybe a little in out on the release in the straighter side. It's going to spin. It's going to spin. And it spins in.
Just in.
Cheeky. Cheeky.
That is going to be tough.
So Ontario now has to deal with this rock. That could have been a force if BC happened to roll out, but instead it spins in. And Ontario will have to deal with it over on the wings.
And it's just intimidating to look at. These shots way out to the wings, just so intimidating to shoot at. And this is my favorite, when a sweeper gets to leave the ice usually.
There's no more room.
He's gone.
So Del Conte, tough one to throw because you just got to trust it that it's going to curl. It's going to be close. Boards are coming up fast. Oh, just
Man.
keeps it before it hit the boards.
The most excitement.
Oh my goodness. The reason I say that is because we're going to go over to the boys' bronze medal game.
Bum, ba-da-bum.
Steal a 3. Newfoundland right back in that game. They were down 8-0 and have just stolen 3 in the 5th end and are now only down 8-6 after 5 ends of play.
Got ourselves a ball game over there.
Never quit. Never say never. Justin Bieber.
Just as we saw, I mean, look at Chelsea Carey just this past weekend against Rachel Holman.
Exactly. Got a testament to those Newfoundland boys' resilience and resolve to keep in that game. I know they have all the momentum now. If you're Manitoba, you're reeling a little bit. Give up 3, give up steal a 3. Momentum's all for Newfoundland, and the crowd went wild.
And a shout out that, quoting Justin Bieber, always deserves a good shout out there. As on our end, we get another blank.
So, 2-2 after 6 ends of play. I see my normal co-host, Dustin Ekstrand, likes to comment on our feed. Dustin, to answer your question, I would not.
I don't know much of the details or the inside of the story, but $250,000 a year is a pretty good deal, Joel. So I don't think you should turn this down, whatever this Wiggles is.
To quote Randy Jackson from American Idol, that's going to be a no for me, dog.
All right, okay.
Back to the action. Curling action, not Wiggles action. Curling action. BC with hammer. Ontario going to try and force this end. A force in the 7th end would be huge, so they're going to throw up the center guard, and they're going to be aggressive this end, I can imagine.
Yeah, you have to be.
So Ontario throwing up the center. And are you surprised, Shane? The lead's made a shot?
Oh, wow, perfect.
Perfect.
I think both these leads have to be over 95%, I'm sure.
Big shout out.
Both unbelievable.
Vince and Troy. Vince for Ontario and Troy for BC. Both playing just fantastic.
Yeah, unbelievable game.
So this is what they call the simple deuce. BC is going to actually play for the blank and make it simple. If they end up getting 2 out of it, they're not too disappointed, but they would prefer the blank, so they're going to go into the rings with the first one.
So is Ontario mostly going to put up another center guard, or are we going to see them come around with this second shot here?
You can see Del Conte contemplating it, but you would have discussed this beforehand.
Wow, he's in it, yeah. Interesting.
So this is where it's basically the skit's comfortability.
Yeah.
If he's comfortable with going to the 8th end tied up without hammer and stealing in the
Trying to steal.
in the 8th, then you hit this rock. If you're going hard for the force in this end, then you would throw another center guard and maybe go for it a little harder.
Right.
However, this side does curl.
And this thing is taking off.
Look at this go.
Yeah.
Our first mistake, we've jinxed it. Sorry, Vince. That's our fault. I jinxed him after how well he was playing.
And now we'll see how Team BC wants to do this. You could split the house, or you could guard it.
First call basically all week that I've disagreed with Sato.
Yeah,
I don't like the guard because now it's going to all of a sudden force an aggressive end.
now all of a sudden, yeah, there's a good chance there's no blank in play anymore, or two. Well, the two, sorry, still in play, but blank is possibly out of the picture.
And I only disagree with him for the fact is
Just the way he's been playing the whole time.
Yeah,
the whole game.
The whole game he's been playing pretty conservatively. If you go wide side on the other side, all of a sudden you have an easy deuce set up. And you're not going to put too much in play. All of a sudden, yes, I like this call. And, of course, Troy Chung's going to make it because he's been making everything tonight.
That's what he does.
But now, all of a sudden, you're in it. If Ontario happens to make a shot to get behind that guard, because this side will curl. We've seen it curl. Now you're in it, and you might get forced.
And yeah, this is a tough shot, too, out here in the wings for Team Ontario. Interesting. But trying to keep it open as much as you can, for sure, I guess.
So Sam Guilbeau going to try and get by tight here with about board weight. This rock will curl, so you got to stay on it. Nick Moore doing his best to keep it straight. Does a great job, and now they're going to get Barbin on the outside.
Yeah, perfect
Great shot.
Really nice.
Nice throw there by Guilbeau. If anything, a little bit heavy. That's why it didn't quite get underneath, but a great shot nonetheless.
Yeah, still really good.
Now I'm just being picky. We're in the 7th end of the gold medal game. I can get picky.
Well, you're a gold medal champion. You can do whatever you want, Joel.
So now,
alumni.
Long time ago.
A couple of years ago, they'd say.
So now Dawson Ballard. It's not very nice. Dawson Ballard is going to try and get to the inside of this. Obviously, if Sato threw up the corner guard, he's going to want to try and use it.
Yeah, you'd think he wants to try and get underneath here. Looks like he's a little outside. Got to high side this.
It will curl here, though. So as soon as you start high-siding it, you'll see some curl. This one will kind of hang out there, though. He's going to stick in the rings. Just not quite where they wanted to.
Just opens it up a little more for Team Ontario to come behind. You know, you have room. You can either come behind the corner
or roll big.
Team BC or roll big to your center line guard.
And this, I hate to say it. I don't like to say I told you so, but now if Ontario makes this roll, you're in it if you're BC, and you might get forced.
You're chasing.
Yep. So Ontario, Sam Guilbeau just saw this shot. You'd think he's going to be close on the second one. It is running a little bit on them, though.
Right on the nose. Just a little bit.
That's just a little bit bigger weight, I think, than they expected. BC happy. You got away with one there. Ontario not making the roll, and now BC, their chance to hit and roll underneath.
Now, at any time with Team BC here, would you ignore this rock and just try and go behind your corner with hammer?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
You got to keep the blank alive if possible.
That's true.
That's kind of your main objective. So BC, Dawson Ballard. Once again, he just threw this as well, so he should be close. They're on and off it.
Looks really close.
Look at this roll.
Oh. Still, I think that's good enough because that is pretty hard. And even if you get it, there's a good chance you are rolling out. They are going to chase it, though. Team Ontario. And this is not an easy shot at all.
No. The only benefit they have, Shane, is Sam Guilbeau, the second threw it 2 shots earlier.
Yeah, I mean, here with Nick Moore, I mean, we've seen this now, almost 5 times through both teams going out here. So as it's staying outside, trying to high side to get a curl, and this is just going to stay out there. And maybe don't want to tick it. He's okay with that. But still, a big miss, and now...
Decisions for BC.
Yeah. Question is, do you peel that center guard? Or do you split the house? Or I don't think you ever go behind that center line guard. So a tough decision here for Team BC. What do you like, Joel? What would you play here?
It depends what your goal for the end was. The only worry about going around this corner, Shane, yes, you could bury 2 and sit 2, but Ontario might just ignore everything and go around the center guard.
Yeah, at this time, if I'm Team Ontario, if this gets buried, I think I'm going around my center.
So we'll see how aggressive Ontario wants to be.
I don't even mind, like, splitting the house is not bad for this shot, but
the only problem with Ontario, so a great shot here by Mickey. He's going to sit 2, dead buried.
Can you freeze to that now if you're Team Ontario even?
Depends how aggressive you want to be if you're Ontario. We've seen, I remember watching the Alberta men's provincial final this year between Appleman and Cooey. And Appleman was in that game, and then took a little bit too much risk in the 7th, and Cooey popped a 4 or 5, and the game is over.
Right, yeah. I mean, it can happen just like that, especially without Hammer here.
So it depends how aggressive you want to be. I like this call, following the same path as Team BC, and if you freeze back to that one, you eliminate both those stones, and you might actually get a force out of it.
Well, this is a huge shot for the end for your third by more. If he can get this frozen on there, the force is definitely on. And it looks really good.
Great shot there by Nick Moore.
Almost perfect.
The only thing by not getting fully frozen, he will allow kind of this angle. But a great shot nonetheless. What a great comeback by Nick Moore. A little bit wide on his first, but to come back and make a perfect, basically, draw on his second.
Yeah.
Under this kind of pressure.
Really good.
Great shot, and well swept by the front end.
And now tough decisions for Team BC too. Do you try the run back? No, he's just going to try. And as we saw with Nick Moore's first, I mean, this is not an easy shot out here in his wings, especially with the weight he's got to play. He's got to play a little bit more up weight, like a board, to make sure that both go, maybe even a control. And if he floats it anywhere out, it's going to stay out there.
So big shot here by Joshua Mickey. Spud Hood, if I just quickly to answer your question, the medal ceremonies we haven't quite found out yet. Somebody is downstairs asking for us.
Let's see how close
he's close.
He played a really low weight. Will be enough to get it out. And it is. Perfect shot to sit 2.
Great shot there by Joshua Mickey. And now if you're Ontario, we think BC's sitting 2 and has a third rock in there. Things are getting dicey if you're BC.
Yeah,
sorry, if you're Ontario.
And even with that good shot, still Ontario has a really good chance. If they had one frozen in there, still another really good opportunity to force them.
So on our girls' side of things, quick update. There was a big steal of 4 for Ontario. So if you're Ontario fans, you are happy. Ontario's just stolen 4 on the girls' side of things and now lead 8-2 over Manitoba after 6 ends of play. But we've seen, Shane, looking across, especially at our boys' bronze medal game, you're not out of it.
No,
only
not
2
at all.
ends left, I guess, but
no,
you can't quit. Ooh, that was a little too aggressive. Looks like Manitoba played a fantastic end there in the boys' bronze medal game, though, and they blanked the 6th end, so they will retain hammer 8-6 going to the 7th. So Del Conte with a big freeze here, Shane. They just saw the spot with Nick Moore, so he should be close. The sweepers aren't leaving this one, though.
Yeah, they hammered it right away, but it looks like
he's close.
Looks close.
On and off.
They left it. Is it going to get by that guard?
It will finish late.
Just sneaks by his
line important now.
Can he get it in there?
Freeze.
Get it for shot.
Great shot.
Pretty good.
Del Conte under pressure, makes a great shot. Maybe a little swept early with the inside guy a little bit too long.
Yeah, just a little bit, but still it's really good. He can only see, what, 3/4 of it? 3/4?
But a tough shot because that side doesn't quite curl as much. But if you ever get right to nose with like board weight, push it back and sit 3, you're in real good position if you're BC.
Yeah, then I don't know what Team Ontario does. I think the only thing you have is the draw around your center. If Soto can make the shot.
We talked about this earlier. How aggressive do you want to be in the 7th end? if you happen to give it all away in this end, you might not even have a chance in the 8th.
Yeah, it's true.
But Ontario going for it, and a big shot here by Sato.
I mean, this is not an easy this is a tough shot.
Big shot, you got to think.
Back line.
A shot
maybe.
like this may decide kind of the fate going forward.
Yeah.
Here we go. Sato.
And yeah, what type of weight? Do you think back line for this, Joel? I mean, you got to...
Back line at most hack, I think.
Because it's almost fully, like 3/4. Sweepers are pounding this. Now they're off. Now here comes the high side sweep.
You got to get by tight. Looks like he's got a good one.
Wow, this could be perfect.
Oh my goodness. Great shot here by Sato.
What a shot.
Oh, and to sit 3.
Unbelievable.
To get by tight. And this kid shows no emotion. He literally just gave kind of a broom wave. Such a cool customer under such big circumstances. You got to be impressed by this team.
An unbelievable shot. What the kids call a pistol, Joel. An unbelievable shot there.
Watch our replay here, Shane. The line call by Dawson Ballard, too,
Perfect.
to be high-siding it, to get by tight, to push it back.
And have enough weight to even get it out.
Like, perfect.
Oh, that was... I know it's a 5 out of 5, but I'm giving that a 10 out of 10 of that one. And now, like we talked about, if he made this shot, now all they have is the draw
Around
to
everything.
to the center line. Or basically, I think...
Shane, do you know what I actually like here? Is if you freeze to your own at the back.
Okay.
And hear me out. If you end up top 4, Sato might end up coming off his own. BC might end up coming off his own and have a shot to get it off the forefeit. If you freeze right to your back one, so obviously you don't throw it there. You throw T-line weight, try and get it buried. But at the end, if you freeze to your own at the back, Sato can't get it out, and he actually might be sitting shot rock at the back.
And he's only has a draw for 1. Yeah, that is true.
The boys are working on this, though. They got to go hard. They got to keep it moving. I don't think he's quite going to get there, and it's going to be a draw for at least 2, 3, maybe a tap for 4.
It looks like it'll be a draw for 4.
Or they actually might play
5.
They might actually play the hit through the hole for 5.
I like the hit for 5, honestly. You're sitting 3, not much can go wrong. Or you play like a heavy, the draw to that is tough.
And that's a tough one. You obviously were trying to get full forefoot if you're Ontario, but throw it T-line, and if you're back there and you're frozen, I didn't see a way for basically BC to get that out.
I mean, all credit to Sato. He made an unbelievable shot. And forced Del Conte to try. They haven't been out. That draw that he tried, they haven't been out there all end. It was a tough area. The sweepers were on it the whole way, so...
And I like this call. I like the hit.
Yeah, I don't. You gotta take advantage. I don't see. This is for the win, basically. This is.
And this side curls. Everything's going for BC here. You just got to get a good throw.
You have 3. 3. If you miss this, so.
BC crowd rises to their feet. They know this is important. The sweepers are on and off it. He's close.
Weight looks perfect.
I think he's got this, ladies and gentlemen. Sato and Team BC hit and stick for 5, and the crowd rises to their feet. What a great shot, and they've actually shaken hands.
There it is. It's all over.
Team BC, your gold medal winners. Gold medal winners here at the Canada Winter Games. BC playing a perfect 100% end here in the 7th. You got to give it to this team. They've been the best all week. They're the #1 ranked team. And now they're Canada Winter Games champions.
Incredible performance by both teams. Team BC played unbelievable. Sato was incredible. The second last shot was, such an impressive shot. It was such a tough to call, to make, just very impressive.
And this is now a moment that these kids will never forget. They're gold medal champions here at the 2019 Canada Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta.
And their reward, they get to take down all the rocks back to our side.
Back to our side. What a great shot of Sato's such a cool customer. Like I don't think he's shown emotion yet. Has he smiled?
I did see a little smile. Yeah.
You got to give that kid credit and the rest of his team credit. They have played so fantastic all week, and they are gold medal champions at the Canada Winter Games.
And at the end of the day, it's going to look like it was but they won by 5, but this was a great game. Close the whole way through, and just one end. Crazy.
And we talked about that early. We called it a little bit, Shane. How aggressive do you want to be if you're Ontario? Yes, you want to get the force, but if you're a little too aggressive, and we alluded to the Alberta final with Appleman and Cooey, if you give up 4 or 5, you're out of it without even getting a chance in the 8th end.
Right.
So it was a risk Ontario decided to take.
I personally liked the risk. Obviously, it didn't work out in the end.
BC just made more shots. They were 100% in that 7th end.
Yeah.
How do you beat a team that's curling 100% in an end?
It's pretty hard, I think.
So BC will win the gold medal, 7-2. However, the score is not an indication of how well that game was curled by both sides. But you gotta think that Sato curled at least 95% the game that game, Shane.
He was unbelievable. I don't remember a shot he missed, honestly.
He maybe rolled out in the 2nd end.
Yeah, that's about it.
So I think he was probably 96, 97.
Oh.
And I echo David's thoughts on our comments. You got to give him, there's no MVP in curling, but
he was MVP.
That kid played unbelievable.
And for a skiff to be that high of a percentage, we don't know for sure, but he had to be at least 90. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's so tough to do.
On this stage, with that crowd all beside you, and with the gold medal on the line.
Impressive stuff.
Impressive stuff. Hayato Sato takes home the gold medal for BC.
I think we'll be seeing more of him later on.
Team BC, you have a lot of curling future ahead of you.
Yes.
You got Tyler Tardy coming out. You got this young team, Sato, and his team coming out. The future of BC curling looks bright.
And Joel, I don't know if you wanted to try, we probably can't get a video of that bronze medal game, but if people want to listen to us talk about what's going on in that bronze medal game over in the men's.
So over on sheet 7, I wonder if our awesome person running the video, Siham Akkad from Lebanon, can go right over to sheet 7. And that's our bronze medal game between Manitoba and Newfoundland. We kind of talked about this game earlier, Shane. It was 8-0 at one point.
And all of a sudden, Newfoundland, it's 8-6, Joel. Way over there, 8-6. They're in the 7th. Can't tell exactly.
Nothing in play.
Looks like there's 2 rocks.
2 Manitoba rocks.
Just on the edge of the 12-foot.
But no guards in play. That leads me to believe that Manitoba has made quite a few ticks or peels this end. And
yeah, I mean, that's one thing we didn't get to see in our game was any ticks or anything like that. It's such a big part of the game now that we saw in the Scotties, and I'm sure we'll see at the Brier. Yeah, quite interesting. We didn't get to see one.
So Team BC wins the gold medal for the men's competition here at the Canada Winter Games. I don't remember the last time Team BC won the men's. I couldn't comment on that. 2007 was Alberta. 2011, Team BC girls won because Corinne Brown and Team BC girls beat Alberta in the final.
Go into your memory bank, Joel. Do you?
I'm trying to think. So Corinne Brown won for BC in 2011, but men that year, I believe, was Ontario. And then 2015 was Manitoba. So you'd have to go back to 2003 or 1999, but I don't actually know who won back then. I know JD Lind was the Alberta representative in 2003, so I don't think JD's listening, so he couldn't help us out, but I don't remember the last time Team BC won the men's. But nonetheless, congratulations.
It's 2019 now.
2019, they're the current champion, gold medal champions.
And we have a timeout over on that Manitoba-Newfoundland game as they discuss what they want to play.
So they've brought out their coach, Jeff Thomas, the father of Colin Thomas, who a lot of you might recognize from the Canadian juniors. Colin was there for Team Newfoundland quite a few years in a row. So Jeff giving them some advice here. Manitoba sitting 2. We'll stay on air with you for right now, though, just because we might do our medal presentations here in a bit. You might not want to hear us commentate for the medal presentations.
No.
However,
we'll let them watch.
We'll let them watch.
And not have to listen to us.
No, I'm sick of my own voice. So the medal ceremonies will be at 1 p.m. apparently. So after both these games are complete, they'll kind of clear all the sheets and get ready for the medal ceremony starting at 1 p.m. So I'm not quite sure if our webcast company will keep us on air or if they'll come back with another broadcast for the medal ceremonies. Either way, it's been a fantastic week. I thank Shane for being here with me for the gold medal game.
It was
Shane,
a pleasure, Joel. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And to all my broadcasters that helped throughout the week, from Dustin Ekstrand to Keith Glover to Fred Armstrong to Lowell Peterman, everybody that was involved with this production, our amazing videographer, Siam Akkad from Lebanon, everybody that was involved, all the volunteers, our other broadcasters, Brad Hamilton and Andrew Jones, our statisticians down in front of us, our sport lead, Sarah Moore, everybody that was involved, thank you so much to make this Canada Games in Red Deer truly one to remember. So now it looks like Newfoundland made the double and rolled out on theirs.
They did, yeah.
So it looks like Manitoba is just going to take the blank, and they will go up 8-6, coming home with hammer, looking to bring home the bronze medal.
You would think that, Joel, but luckily there's a couple more rocks for them to throw.
Oh!
So,
yeah, well,
still a little more time.
Well then, pull the Dustin.
There will be a blank, most likely, but we're just a couple rocks away from it.
I literally made the exact mistake I made fun of Dustin for yesterday.
I feel like that's what some
Karma?
people would say karma.
Joel Karma, one would say.
But what do I know?
On our girls sheet, we can update our girls side. Ontario versus Manitoba. Ontario women are leading Manitoba 8-2. Manitoba trying. I think they're currently drawing for 1. And they will make it right to the button. And they're going to shake hand the way she's going down there. She is going to shake hands, and Ontario wins the gold medal in the girls competition. So mixed results for the girls and boys Ontario teams. The girls come home with the gold medal, and the boys will take silver. Congratulations to all our teams that will be coming home with medals, and a shout out to all the teams that were involved throughout this competition. I know a lot of them are still here watching. Shane, now I can almost call the blank.
Now here it comes, Joel.
The blank over on sheet 7.
And Joel, I'm sure everyone would like to thank you also for spending the week doing this. I'm sure all your great fans that listen to you every day, every performance.
It's mostly just Willow.
Willow wants to thank you. You did a great job. I'm sure I listened to a couple, and it's never easy doing this many performances, this many. So I think you did a great job, Joel.
Well, thank you, Shane.
Throughout the whole week.
At this point, I'm sick of my own voice. I'm going to go sit at my house and listen to silence for the next 2 days.
As you get the blank now.
And the blank, as I called. We just wanted them to get into the 8th end.
Right, exactly.
So the blank was made by Manitoba. Coming home, up by 2. Bronze medal on the line. So our 2 bronze medal games are still out there. New Brunswick was forced to 1 in the 7th in the girls' bronze medal game, and they're now down 1 coming home without hammer. Nova Scotia will have hammer in the 8th. Oh, what a shot.
Nice double.
Double peel there for Nova Scotia.
And Nova Scotia I think they were on the only broadcast that TSN had. I think they were on there. Is that correct, Joel? Yeah.
Didn't quite show their best potential that day, but
right.
Nonetheless, a great bounce-back game here for them. A lot of good potential here at the Canada Games. No matter which team you're cheering for, you got to be excited about the potential of junior curling here in Canada.
Yeah, like you discussed before, Joel, I mean, really good chance we're going to see all of these, not all of them, but we're going to see future curlers, you know, professional or whatever. You will see a lot of these players again.
Absolutely. Okay, I think we're basically done here, Shane. We're not really showing any of the other games because it's a little too far over there.
Sounds good.
So we're going to stop commentary. We might still have them film it if people want to see. However, at this point, the commentary seems not needed. So thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure commentating the 2019 Canada Winter Games. Thank you, Shane.
No
Thank you to everybody involved. Have a great night or great day.
Great day, great day. And hopefully everyone enjoyed it. And thanks, everyone.
It's been a pleasure. 2019 Canada Winter Games from Red Deer, Alberta.